So there are many advantages to being on clinical trial. The first is that it is possible to access certain medications which are not freely or widely available yet in a given community by going on a clinical trial. Obviously, realizing that the fact that it is on a clinical trial would therefore imply that the ultimate efficacy is not yet proven. But it's got to be said that many of the trials are positive, even though there are some trials which are negative, which therefore brings me to say that one of the negative possibilities is that a given trial that you have enrolled in may not necessarily give you benefit. And that is the whole reason why it is a clinical trial. Moreover, in our recent experience also, there are trials which have subsequently, even though with initial evidence of efficacy, may be associated with certain toxicities which do not become evident till later. Overall, however, I would say that enrolling in clinical trials is a very good thing. And the reason is that for many reasons that are many logistics that are known, but some that are unknown, patients who enroll on clinical trials tend to do better. And we often discuss this as to why, but there have been many publications about this through the years. It is thought that part of the reason may be that in enrolling in a clinical trial, the monitoring and the ways in which patients are looked after is so regimented that nothing gets missed, for instance. So I'm not saying that outside of clinical trial things get missed, but when things are regimented, it becomes a very tight ship, so to speak. And that may be a reason why patients on clinical trials do better. Another reason, of course, is that because there are strict eligibility criteria for patients, patients who enroll on clinical trials may in themselves be of a better state or clinical status than those who don't enroll on clinical trials. So in addition to accessing treatments that you may not be able to get outside of clinical trial, there is that added benefit that if the trial works, the overall results may be better. On the flip side, it is important to remember the main negative reason, and that is it is not appropriate to think that just because you're on a clinical trial, that clinical trial will be positive. And I think that is very important to remember. The other possibility of the flip side is that you can encounter toxicities which are not necessarily evident at the time of that particular trial. And that particularly applies to phase 1 trials, which are first in human. In talking about that, I think it's also important to remember that phase 1 trials are there for a reason. Of course, it helps drug development because we know about toxicity and safety by using the drug. But there are many patients who have accessed phase 1 trials and derived benefits when there are no other possible drugs that could help them at that particular point in time.